Part 2. My sister dropped her 3 kids at my doorstep with a note. Need to find myself in Europe, back in 2 weeks. 6 months later, she was living in Paris with her new boyfriend, while I raised her children, until my lawyer called with news that made me drop my phone. Your late father's second will. It changes everything. 2 months, okay. I looked at the sleeping children, thought of the documents on Victoria's desk, and typed back. We need to talk. The real battle was just beginning. Emma's response came faster than I expected, not a text, but a video call at 7 a.m. the next morning. I stepped onto the back porch to take it, away from little ears that didn't need to hear this conversation. What do you mean, we need to talk? Emma's face filled my screen, Paris glittering behind her. The kids would love Paris. Pierre's family has this amazing chateau where, the kids aren't going to Paris, I cut in, my voice firm. And we need to discuss Dad's second will. The change in her expression was instant. The carefree smile vanished, replaced by something calculating. What's second will? The one he left protecting your children from exactly this situation. I watched her face carefully. He knew you, Emma. He knew you'd do this someday. She laughed, but it sounded hollow. That's ridiculous. Daddy would never. I'm their mother. I have rights. You abandoned those rights when you disappeared for 6 months to find yourself. I couldn't keep the bitterness from my voice. Do you even know what's happening in their lives? Jake made the advanced soccer team. Sophie won the school art competition. Max finally stopped crying himself to sleep, asking for you. Don't you dare judge me, Emma's voice rose. You have no idea what it's like, having kids so young, missing out on everything. And now I've finally found happiness. At the expense of your children's happiness, I snapped. They're not accessories you can store away until they fit your lifestyle, Emma. They're people, small, vulnerable people who need stability and love. They had that with me. I'm their mother. No, Emma, you're their birth mother. I'm the one who's been actually mothering them. The silence that followed was deafening. Emma's face had gone pale, her perfectly maintained mask cracking. I'm calling Mom, she finally said. This is insane. You can't just, Mom and Dad's house is legally mine now, I interrupted. Part of Dad's provisions. The trust for the kids has activated. You can call whoever you want, but it won't change the facts. Emma's eyes narrowed. So that's your game. Steal my inheritance, my children. You're just jealous because you couldn't have kids of your own. The words were meant to hurt, and they did. But I developed a thicker skin over the past 6 months. Victoria Bennett is handling everything, I said calmly. You remember her, Dad's lawyer. Call her office if you want to discuss the legal details, but the kids are staying with me. We'll see about that. Emma ended the call with a violent tap. Within hours, my phone was buzzing constantly. Mom called first, alternating between tears and accusations. How could you do this to your sister? We're family. Yes, we are, I agreed. Which is why I'm protecting those kids. Old family friends called, flying monkeys in Emma's drama. Even our Aunt Linda, who hadn't visited the kids once in 6 months, suddenly had opinions about their welfare. But the worst was yet to come. 3 days after my conversation with Emma, I received notice that she was filing for emergency custody, claiming I had manipulated the situation to kidnap her children. Her lawyer painted me as an unstable widow, obsessed with replacing my lost chance at motherhood by stealing my sister's children. Victoria was unfazed. This is good, she said when I called her in a panic. She's showing her true colors. Every action she takes proves your father right. The courts moved quickly, given the circumstances. A hearing was scheduled for the following week. In the meantime, I had to tell the kids what was happening. Jake understood immediately. She wants to take us to France, doesn't she? His hands clenched into fists. I won't go, you can't make me. Sophie burst into tears, but my friends are here, my school, and you're here. Max just climbed into my lap and held on tight, too young to fully understand, but old enough to sense the tension. The day of the hearing arrived with gray skies and thunder, fitting weather for what was to come. I dressed carefully in a conservative blue suit, trying to project stability and competence. Emma showed up in designer clothes, Pierre by her side, looking every bit the glamorous mother ready to reclaim her children. But I noticed she didn't once look at the kids, who were waiting with my friend Anne in the courthouse corridor. The judge, an older woman named Harrison, reviewed the documents carefully. Emma's lawyer spoke first, weaving a tale of a young mother, temporarily overwhelmed, who had trusted her sister to watch her children while she sorted herself out. He painted Emma as a victim of manipulation and me as an opportunist. Then Victoria presented our case. She had everything: Emma's social media posts, showing her partying across Europe while ignoring her children's calls, documentation of missed parent-teacher conferences, and doctor appointments, statements from the kids' teachers about their improved behavior and grades under my care. And finally, Dad's will and letter. Your Honor, Victoria concluded, this isn't about denying Ms. Winchester access to her children. This is about providing these 3 young people with the stable, loving home they deserve. Miss Sarah Cooper has been that home. The children are thriving in her care. Their own grandfather foresaw this situation and provided for it legally. We ask the court to honor his wishes and the children's best interests. Judge Harrison asked to speak with the children privately. When they returned, Jake was standing straighter, Sophie had clearly been crying, but looked resolved, and Max was clutching his dinosaur. The judge's decision was clear. Temporary custody would remain with me while a full evaluation was conducted. Emma would have supervised visitation rights if she chose to exercise them. Emma's response was explosive. This is ridiculous. They're my children. I gave birth to them. Ms. Winchester, Judge Harrison's voice cut through Emma's protests. Giving birth is biology. Parenting is action. From the evidence presented, you have excelled at the former and abdicated the latter. If you wish to contest permanent custody, I suggest you demonstrate genuine commitment to your children's welfare, starting now. Emma stormed out, Pierre trailing behind her. I heard later they took the first flight back to Paris. That night, as I tucked the kids into bed, there was a new peace in their eyes. They knew they were staying home. Sarah, Sophie called as I turned out her light. Yes, sweetheart. Can I call you Mom? My heart squeezed. You can call me whatever feels right to you, honey. No pressure. She was quiet for a moment. I think you're more Mom than she ever was. I held her close, letting her cry out the complicated feelings of loving someone who couldn't love her enough in return. Later, sitting on my back porch with a glass of wine, I looked at the stars and thought of Dad. He'd known all along, known Emma's heart, known what the kids would need, known that I would step up. I hope I'm doing right by them, I whispered to the night sky. My phone buzzed with a text from Emma. This isn't over. I looked back at the house where 3 children slept peacefully, finally feeling secure in their home. No, I typed back, it's just beginning. Because this wasn't about winning or losing anymore. It was about 3 children, who deserved better than being pawns in their mother's game of self-discovery. And I would make sure they got it. The real work of healing was just starting. But for the first time, we had solid ground to build on. The next 6 months tested us all in ways I never expected. Emma's response to losing temporary custody was to launch a full-scale social media campaign, painting herself as a victim of family betrayal. Her Instagram became a carefully curated showcase of motherly devotion from afar, posts about missing her babies, throwback photos of happier times, and long captions about the pain of separation. The reality, of course, was different. She missed her first scheduled supervised visit, citing travel complications. The second was cut short when she spent more time taking selfies for her reunion story than actually talking to the kids. By the third visit, only Jake showed up, and he left after 15 minutes when Emma started talking about their new life in Paris. I don't want a new life, he told me later, sitting on our back porch swing. I like our life here with you. The custody evaluation process was thorough and sometimes painful. The court-appointed evaluator, Dr. Martinez, spent hours interviewing each child, observing our home life, and reviewing evidence of both Emma's abandonment and my care. One session particularly stood out. Sophie was showing Dr. Martinez her art wall, drawings, paintings, and school projects I'd carefully preserved. Sarah, she comes to every art show, Sophie explained. She even took a day off work when I was scared to present my project. And your other mom? Dr. Martinez asked gently. Did she come to your shows? Sophie's face fell. She said she'd come to the big one last year, but she posted pictures from a party in Milan instead.